Hey everyone, this is Pause or Repeat. Here we figure out whether a game is really worth your time and money. Today's game is EA Sports College Football 25. This is EA's big return to making a college football game. The last one was with NCAA Football 14 from 2013, but EA is more well known for the Madden series, of course. This game, still being from EA, has some of the DNA of Madden in it. Is the fact that it follows college football instead of NFL enough to keep it feeling fresh? Let's tackle the gameplay side of things first and find out. The gameplay of College Football 25 is of course still football. You can't exactly change the rules of the sport so wildly between games when the sport hasn't changed in real life, right? But what can differ is how the game feels and plays. There is a new control mode for passing that especially experienced players will be able to take advantage of fine-tuning the details with. However, if you would like the system already familiar from Madden, then that is an option as well. Other additions include meaningful stat scaling to the quarterback's throwing based on player stats, as well as a wear system, to name a couple. The wear system is basically a stamina stat that can be used to gauge the player's condition. With too much wear, the player cannot perform at full potential. Outside of the gameplay, there is also a bit of college world building in a sense. This is boiled down to resource management, having to juggle your classes and GPA alongside practice and game days to make sure your character is not only in good standing with the school, but also the team. But of course, the meat and potatoes of the gameplay is always going to be the football games themselves. Now the question, is there any story to this game? There isn't a traditional story with characters, but there is a quote road to glory mode, and it delivers the game with some RPG-like elements thrown in. But now the question still stands. Pause or repeat? All right, Chris, we all know and this has been a thing we've talked about before on the show. I'm not a huge sports person.
Yes.
It's not a no like, harm in that necessarily. But hey, I still had fun with the game. But I want you to kind of, lead us in as you being the resident sports person of the show. What did you think of the game?
I'm just curious, what's your favorite play in this diverse playbook? Was it the quarterback kneel? No, I'm just playing. No, I mean,
the quarterback kneel where you just count down the time?
Yeah. You just let the time progress down because I had to torture you to play a sports game. No.
You know what? I will say that is a nice addition that you can do that, because I can just imagine, an online play that being used for some bad manners, towards your enemy.
You can definitely, speed up the clock and all that kind of fun jazz. But man, dude, the hype for EA College Football 25 is very real. I mean, we were talking about it previously. Over 2 million gamers gladly paid an extra $30 just to play the game 3 days early, because apparently impatience is worth $100. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, I thought we weren't
$30 more to play it early.
Yeah, but then I guess there is some benefits to it, Henrik, because the more I think about it, I'm single, right? But I know there's guys and ladies out there, you have a significant other, right? So they might not be entirely thrilled that you spent the extra $30 to play your game early, but hey, view it like this. At least you're saving money by staying in all weekend, right? There's nothing like romance on a budget. That's all I can say. $30, that's not too shabby. Your girlfriend's gonna want to get some ice cream even after the dinner date and a movie date, anything of that kind of nature. But with going back to the gameplay, man, after a decade-long break, thanks to the legal drama and the NCAA rules, EA College Football is back. And I think it's really cool. You're getting players now that are receiving digital fame, even getting paid $600 each, which is kind of like its own story within its own self. But think about it. You have like the traditional NFL route that has over 32 teams. You get to play with up to 134 team football subdivisions. That, to me, that's one of the most amazing benefits about the game. I mean, how did you feel just experiencing, just the college atmospheres within each stadium?
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, I even when I went to college, wasn't really a big person in terms of like going to go watch a football game, but this game does, give you the same kind of experience, even down to like the camera shake.
Yeah.
From the crowd in the stadium kind of
or
making
the drum rolls,
shake.
from the band, the marching band.
The production of it, like the from the cheerleaders to the mascots to the teams running out and everyone's cheering. Everything is like the details are all there, and I appreciate that because it does try to lend itself to reality in that sense. And I mean, I have been to football games, but not really that many. And I can say from what I have been to, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of gamers out there that have been kind of saying, ever since, leaving that college environment, it really is kind of cool to go back to maybe Oregon State or UCLA, USC,
Yeah, yeah.
whatever, and be able to kind of witness that like kind of same game day approach. I think that is like a really, really cool aesthetic with the game. I did mention the drum roll. Was anybody else like really disappointed with the music in EA College Football 25? They kept hyping this thing up as if it was going to have this like blockbuster roster, and it just on a level, it got kind of tad of annoying. I mean, I'm a drummer myself, but hearing like like after a while, that just drives you bananas.
Maybe
But
they need
like
to focus on that a little bit more on the next game,
maybe just a
next
little
year.
bit more. But like because I was kind of clowning this game a little bit before it came out because like you were talking about like even in your excellent video to hype up, pause or repeat, the whole wear and tear factor or just being able to kind of do the micromanaging inside EA College Football. I don't know about you, Henrik, but like to recruit the top talent in this game, you're going to have to kind of do things that might make most adults cringe. Like, unlike Madden, where you can just draft players and trade players, you have to dive deep into like a high schooler's social media profiles. You have to slide into
Yeah.
DMs. You have to convince them to come and visit your campus. It's like online dating, but for football stars. Like,
Yeah, and
to
it's
me,
like
after a while, like, it's weird.
I get what they're going for. They're going for more of that, like what the recruiters actually have to do in real life to actually get these players on certain teams. But maybe this isn't the game for that. Like if they didn't have that feature, I'm sure no one would complain.
Yeah,
And
it's go ahead.
I
Go
think
ahead.
if they had gone even further into it and made it a little bit more fleshed out, maybe then it would have been better. So if they decide to keep that for next year, maybe they should do that. Maybe they should flesh it out a little bit more
Because
and
you've
make
already
it
been
more
seeing some
fire.
of like the cringy, like weird NPC conversations that like people are
Yeah,
having some fun with,
and
and
they
it's
end up
like,
repeating as well because
yeah,
the
and then
game's not
it kind
perfect.
of it kind of takes away from the experience in a sense. It's like, yeah, you got your kind of like clickbait moment, or, I guess, yeah, cool. There's no
Mhm.
such thing as bad publicity, right? But I don't know. I felt like it would be really, really cool to like actually feel like you are an NCAA coach. It's not quite there as of yet because I feel like if you're like a sports journalist and you're kind of writing about like some of the imperfections that college coaches do that treat their athletes in maybe a way that or they promise them one thing and then they don't fulfill it on the other end, or they drop the student halfway through and don't fulfill their scholarship. I mean, what does this teach our future generations? I mean, that was just kind of like a random sidebar moment that I was kind of viewing it from that kind of sense. But kind of going back to the gameplay, the defense, I don't know. Do I suck ass, Henrik? I mean, it doesn't matter whether I'm playing strong safety, cornerback, or linebacker. Playing defense is so freaking brutal. It's like trying to
Yeah,
catch a greased pig. I
you,
mean,
you know what? I can agree with you on that because, and maybe this is, just both of us are not good at the game. I mean, I don't even really play these games in the
no,
first
I
place.
love Madden. Like,
But
I love
like,
playing
I
defense,
sucked at it
stalking.
too.
Like, I'm a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I like playing as Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's usually really freaking good. If you're like kind of stalking your opponent online. But I just feel like they run right by you. And I don't know. I feel like the hit stick is like completely useless. Like, what's the point of adding that feature if the guy's like right next to you? You would think a basic hit would happen. That's a little bit of the bugginess that kind of needs to be fixed, but it did kind of take away from the experience that I was feeling. But you were also mentioning even in your video the road to glory mode.
Yeah,
Everybody's been really, really looking forward to this. But I kind of felt like there's some major flaws that kind of really grind my gears with this mode. I think one of the number one things is, and I've been seeing it online, and hopefully EA will make like a patch to kind of bypass through this. But like, why can't you just call the plays you want to call? Like, sometimes, you might want to choose in in this mode, road to glory, that I want to be a quarterback, but they just keep handing the ball off. And so essentially you're just watching a computer playing this like cinematic experience
a
while you're
simulation. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's not fun. And that's really not cool. And I know there's been like some ways where, you can kind of like tweak it a little bit with like, the play selection, but even that alone, I don't feel like is enough. I just felt like I was a spectator just cursing at my screen the entire time. How
Yeah,
did you feel
that's
about
fair.
that?
No, I agree, and I think it really is goes back to the fact that I don't think that a lot of the features in this game are the main focus of the game, and that being really probably one of them that they in the next iteration can improve on, because I'm sure their bigger focus was making sure that like the online play, which is really going to be what keeps this game alive, is people playing with each other. I think that's really going to be the thing that they, when you look at this game, that they focused on. And I mean, yeah, it did feel a little like, okay, well, you put this mode in and it's not really fleshed out. It's not finished. It feels like
Yeah.
that kind of sucks.
Because I
But
feel like they were
at
just
least they put
trying
it
to.
in, and they can try to fix the little things here and there that they can, and maybe next year they'll do it better.
Maybe it was different in your experience, but like it just kind of felt like they were just trying to add so much into one game because they were just so
Yeah,
excited that there's such an 11-year drought. Like, I mean, yeah, it's really cool that you get to make your own stadiums, make your own team. Like, I even saw one guy going viral. He was like, "I'm making the Tatooine Outlaws," kind of you're referencing Star Wars, and there's like
yeah,
really cool things. And I know that they're trying to implement that into a more online experience, moving forward with the game. So I think that's kind of promising. But in a sense, I'm gonna say pause, Henrik. Like, this game just doesn't feel like because that's the problem. Like, it gets recycled year after year after year, like
yeah,
Madden, and even with like some of these headaches that I'm already having with just this rebranding in a sense, because originally it used to be called NCAA football, now EA College Football 25. I don't know. I think it's a pause, but if it definitely comes on sale during the Christmas time, I mean, what are you waiting for? I mean, yeah, jump on the game. It's still a whole lot of fun. It's just like it's not quite there for me. What about you, Henrik?
yeah. I keep saying this, but really, I am not a sports game person, and so for me, it is a pause. But I definitely could see this being a game that if you're someone who has enjoyed the Madden games year over year, and you enjoy that experience of not really getting a different game every year, then this is going to be a game for you. It's just not a game for me. That's all.
Yeah,